Well, everybody, we're live. Oh boy, what the last couple 24 hours has been on the expansion. I thought maybe we could wait until our Saturday night show with the other two, with Jason and Paul, to talk a little bit about this. But it's going to be old news by the time we get there. Okay, so what's going on? Last we heard yesterday, they came out and they said Oregon and Washington were having serious talks with the Big Ten about joining. Oh, good lord. Maybe nothing will come out of it. It's the last. I'm kind of like I'm getting on board with everybody else. This is going to dilute the conferences. 18 teams. It's just too much. We can't do that. And so, hi, Ari. Um, it is Ari, right? Or Ari? Okay. Anyway, thanks for joining the show. Okay. So a lot of us are mad about the expansion. I think Iowa gets lost somewhere in this shuffle, and I'll explain to you why here in a few minutes. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So yesterday they tell us that they're getting serious. I wake up this morning and there's a text message or something I got, or a tweet maybe, saying that not so fast. Arizona and Oregon, I mean, not Arizona, but Oregon and Washington are not coming to the Big Ten after all. Okay. Things had changed, things had stalled. I thought, yes. I said, I wouldn't be even excited about the UCLA and USC expansion, and I'd be less excited about that if it weren't for the fact that maybe every couple of years we get Iowa out here, where I live in California, to play a football game less than 2 hours away from where I live. So, okay, so here we go, and then so then I go. I'm hearing that Arizona is pretty much a done deal. They just need the votes, the Board of Regents in Arizona, to move to the Pac-12. Okay. All right. Then I'm going out and I'm spending the morning with my wife. We're doing errands. We're doing this. We're getting exercise at the park and everything, having fun. Then I come home around noon. I open up my news feed and everything. Explosion. Okay. Here comes Oregon. Here comes Washington. They're coming next year. Come or hell, high water. They've already informed the Pac-12 they're coming. Once they get the official invite. My understanding is the official invites have not yet been sent to those two schools, but it sounds like it's just a formality. They're coming. All right. 18 teams. Okay, now you got what's going on with the Pac 12, though. Okay. You got Arizona and Colorado to the Big 12. You got USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington to the Big 12. That leaves 6 teams. Okay. Cal, Stanford, Oregon State, Washington State, Arizona State, and Utah. But let's not consider Utah and Arizona State, because probably before this next couple of weeks are over, they will also be headed to the Big 12, because it just says they're a little behind on getting those 2 teams in, but they're bent on getting those 2 teams in as well to the Big 12. So that gets you down to 4 Pac-12 teams: Colorado, Stanford, Oregon State, and Washington State. What do you do with them? Pac-12 is essentially done, or do the 4 schools retain the rights to the Pac-12 and expand? Here's what I found for teams on the West Coast that could possibly be interested in expanding with the Pac-12, because their TV money is probably not going to be near as good um, as the Apple TV that Pac-12 is getting. Apple TV streaming. Come on. Not everybody has Apple TV. I don't pay for Apple TV. I don't want Apple TV. They don't have enough good shows on it to make it worth my while to spend it out of my pocket each month. Good for Apple TV, though, for wanting to try to stream it and trying to get people to buy more. Pay more money, pay them more money. Honestly, if you're an Apple user with their computers, their watches, or their cell phones, you should get Apple TV for free, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, but here's the team that I thought, if the Pac-12 were going to expand, that would make it viable. Okay, of course, I don't know if this would. I think they would become more of a group of 5 team instead of a Power 5 team. So now we become the Power 4 teams. But anyhow, Follow me here. I come up with San Diego State, Boise State, San Jose State, Fresno State, SMU, um, Colorado State, and possibly Utah State. Okay, that would be 7 teams that I came up with to add to the 4 that will be remaining to make it 12 again. Okay. Okay. Most of those teams, not all of them, but most of those teams come from the Mountain West team. Mountain West. Okay. So that's going to destroy the Mountain West. Or do those 4 teams just bite the bullet, become a group of 5 team, and join the Mountain West? Which makes more sense? I don't know. One thing we do know. Okay. All right. Is that the Pac-12 is not going to exist as it used to. All right. Okay. Thanks, Ari. I wish you could tell me how to pronounce that. Thanks. It is a formal invite now per ESPN. Okay. All right. Some that questions. What happens to the Rose Bowl? The contract is between the Big Ten and the Big 12. I mean, the Pac-10 and the Pac-12 and the Big Ten. Okay. Now what? Yeah. Ari, I don't know how that's going to work with basketball right now. I really don't. Boy, they're going to have a 20-game schedule, or they're going to go higher, you know? Does the Big Ten decide that we need to add, with 18 teams, do we need to at least go to 9 or 10 conference games? You know, that's the part that scares me the most. But anyway, I'm going to get to that part here in a minute. Okay. So what does happen to the Rose Bowl? Honestly, do they make a contract with another conference to play, like the Big 12? Do they go to the Big 12 and say, "Hey, we want to make something with the Rose Bowl. The Rose Bowl, we want to make a deal with you guys." But listen, okay, the Big 12 has already got their contracts. I think either with the Cotton Bowl or the Orange Bowl. Okay, plus that whole group of 6 thing, and playoffs thing. Okay, I don't know how that's all going to work. This is going to be interesting to see how all this shakes out, because the Rose Bowl is supposed to be the granddaddy of them all. It's supposed to be the best available in the Big Ten, the best available from the Pac-12. You know, we'll still get the best available from the Big Ten, but who's they going to play? Who are they going to play? You know, okay, and I think it's going to become tougher to become bowl eligible. So let me write this down for a sake here, okay? As I said in the podcast the other day, I think the top 5 teams that on a consistent basis will be Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, USC. Well, at least they'll be the top 4 teams on a consistent basis. Okay, that'll probably be our playoff teams too when they expand to 12, or at least a couple of them. Okay, all right. And the next group, teams that are consistently, doing decently. You got Wisconsin, Iowa, soon to be Illinois, Minnesota in that group, probably Nebraska soon. Okay, Oregon and Washington. So this is a possibility that Iowa could finish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They could finish 11th. 11th in an 18 team conference. And where would that leave their record? Somebody sent me, let me pull this up for you guys. Sent me a Facebook Messenger thing last night. I thought it was kind of cool, but it's kind of like, how possibility is this for next year? The potential new schedule for Iowa. Must have accidentally deleted it. God, that's the second thing today that I lost that I was sure I had. Okay. All right. But it had something like, okay, one day, yeah, yeah, I put Oregon in that. Are you putting the Oregon in tier one? Okay. Um, uh, Ari Gold sent that to me last night. Ari, I can't find it. Find it. Hey, thank you. I can't find it. It's gone. Can you resend it to me? Um, or maybe you're in this other group. Okay. Okay, anyway, guys, you can see right here, Ari sent it to us. He figured this 25 schedule could look like potentially Florida Atlantic, Iowa State, UMass. I presume those are the three teams we've already got scheduled. Okay, at Wisconsin, Oregon, Michigan, at Penn State, UCLA, at USC, at Minnesota. Guys, how many potential games could Iowa win in that? Okay, well, I'll give them the first three. Maybe not Wisconsin, but Wisconsin should be pretty decent by then. We might be able to beat Oregon. We might be able to beat UCLA. Maybe Minnesota. So I got 1, 2, 3. So the way I got it, Iowa breaks this. It goes 6-6. 6-6. Yeah, I put Washington and Nebraska in the second tier, in the tier two teams. Because Nebraska's up and coming. Although Oregon and Washington have dominated the Pac-12 in the past, they're not dominating anymore. They're kind of like right there. They're right close. So I got them in tier two. So okay, um, is 5-7 the new normal? God, let's hope not. Um, so yeah, and I guess I don't see. Oh, Washington, Nebraska. Did we? Wait a minute. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. Yeah. We should maybe we beat Washington, maybe we don't. That's a 50-50 game. Nebraska be 50-50. So we could possibly be we could still possibly be 6-6 to 8-4. So but that's probably going to be the best we can do right now. Um So yeah, did you guys see Chad Lysicle's suggestions for 316 pods? 316 pods today. Let me read that to you guys. You guys are talking about pods and everything. So his suggestion is Oregon, Washington, USC, UCLA, Penn State, and Rutgers would be in one pod. But I'm gonna be honest with you. Why would you put Penn State and Rutgers with the West Coast teams in that pod? I think he did this because this way he can keep Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Nebraska, and Northwestern in that pod, you know. And so, and then Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan State, Indiana, Purdue, and Maryland in that pod. Honestly, I think some things would have to be moved around. I honestly think that Purdue and Indiana would have to be moved to the Iowa pod, either Iowa or Minnesota and Nebraska for sure. would have to move to the West Pod in order to keep it more geographical. But yeah, I like that, Mike. I like that too. That pod of Iowa. And that's our rivalries. And at least if we could play those same teams every year on a consistent basis, that would feel better. It really would. Yeah. Okay. You guys are doing good on the questions today. I really appreciate it. So yeah, he wants to change out these teams. Let me show you guys. I have not been very good about putting these up here. Yeah. So I put he put 3 pods. Chad Lessickel's idea was 3 pods of 6 teams each, which that would be cool. But here how I would do that is the winner of each pod would be the 9th Big Ten game of the year. Okay. Um, the best team out of the 3 would have a bye. The 2 teams would play the 9th game of the year for the right to meet the top team in the Big Ten title game. All right. And everybody else, their ninth game would depend on where they fell in the standings and things like that. Yeah. Um, it's gonna be tough, guys. I mean, you got Rutgers and Northwestern, and this is gonna be tough, guys. This is gonna be new normal. New normal is, oh my god. Yeah, pods in Iowa's and big playoff is Iowa's only shot. I agree with you guys. Otherwise, they're gonna probably finish anywhere from 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. On one of those we call our special years that most of us are expecting a special year this year, or a few of us are. Our special year that year would be like we might get to finish 8th instead of 9th or 10th. You know, so yeah. Okay, here we go. Put that one up. Anyhow, that's how I see it shaking out. Okay, guys, what do you guys think? I mean, the guys that are out in here commenting, do you think that 18 teams is too much? Did you think 16 teams was going to be too much? Were you happy with the current 14 team standings? Honestly, I think it depends on how. Oh, yeah, let me put this question up. I don't want to. Does Kirk write off? Okay, okay, wait a minute. We're going to do the question before that first. Okay, all right. Do you think Kirk rides off in the sunset after this year before all the changes? I don't think so. He's pretty much loves coaching. He really does. Football's his baby, and I don't think he's ready to give it up. I really don't. But however, I think if Iowa went to the playoffs this year, or won the Big Ten title outright, he might rethink it. He might. He just might. Or maybe he wants to be around to see the chaos with all the teams. Who knows? Um, yeah, I think you guys are right. Yeah, I think our recruits for 23 and 24, and even the ones that they're after for 25, are starting to look up, guys. I really do. I think our recruiting effort has gotten a lot better. Um, you guys are thinking that he'd be done after 25 or 26 at the latest. That's possibility. That's possible. His contract runs until the end of the 28 season, which is 29. So he'd be here for the 28 season, and then of course I think June or would maybe it'd be right after. I don't know how those work. I always thought they ended in July 31st, so I would think that he contract runs till July 31st, 2029. Um, so yeah, I honestly don't think there's another contract extension for him. Um, but Kirk's an old school guy. He really is, and you got to appreciate what he's done for Iowa and everything he's done now for it. I mean, has his record always been perfect? But he wins consistently. He does. I mean, it may not always be the record we want, We may not always get a Big Ten title, but aren't those years that we that he makes special with those with the undefeated seasons in the Big Ten season? I think we've had two undefeated Big Ten seasons. Um, exciting, you know. I think it's really exciting. I think we've gone 8-0, and did we go 9-0 one year? Um, so that's exciting. Those makes the season fun. It makes it hard though too because it's really hard to sit there and enjoy the season when we're going through it. You're on pins and needles. Okay. Um, and yes, social media, NIL, and the expansion, that all is going to contribute to what goes on with recruiting. It's going to all it's going to be important on to what goes on with Kirk's future decision. I would still like if Kirk has any idea that he wants to leave, and I don't think he knows exactly when he's leaving, that we should name a coach in waiting, okay, to help not lose some of the recruits that we're getting because I think we're getting a pretty good fair share of good recruits right now, and I would love to see us keep them. And so if we can name a coach in waiting, um, and guys, I honestly I'd like to see that be our special teams coordinator. Um, I would love to see him get that job. I just think listening to him on radio shows, listening to him in interviews, and what he's been able to do, I think he's got it. Yes, he's not even been an offense or defensive coordinator, but I think he could handle the job as head coach. Um, I I know a lot of people would like Phil Parker to be our next head coach, but guys, you realize he's 60 years old too, right? And naming somebody that old as a coach here in 2 or 3 years, we're only going to have him for a few more years before he decides it's time to hang up the cleats. So I got a feeling that he'll hang up his cleats when Kirk hangs his up. Okay. Mm, okay. As long as we can establish an actual offensive identity in the top 25, Hawks could be a force to be reckoned with. Heck, with our defense and our special teams, we just got to be in the top 50. We don't have to be great, but just think of what we could do if we were top 25 offense. God, that would be, oh man, that would be good. Yeah, LeVar Woods. That's the name I didn't say. Okay. All right, LeVar Woods is head coach and Seth Wallace is D coordinator if Phil Parker leaves too. Yeah, I have no problem with Seth Wallace. He's learning under a good guy. Phil Parker learned under Norm, and Seth is learning under Phil. So, yeah, we didn't lose a beat. It might took Phil a couple of years to get it the way he wanted it. To tweak it the way he liked it. Um, so yeah. Okay. All right. The good news for remaining Pac-12 teams, as a UCF fan, I've been hearing for years that you go undefeated in a Group 5 team, it's time to put up or shut up. Oh, okay. Somebody explain what the Mike's Boham jinx is. Bonham? Is that how you say your last name? Bonham? Bonham? Okay. Thank you. What's the jinx? Somebody explain that to me. Okay. I'm having fun with you guys. You guys are keeping it lively today. This makes for a great podcast. Guys, and then obviously you guys are all members of YouTube or you wouldn't be able to comment, but please if you're not already subscribing, subscribe so you guys can get this and share it with your friends as well. I'm just scrolling back to see if I'm missing any good comments. Um, yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. We both said LeVar Woods at the same time. Oh, that's what it is. Okay. I get it. I get it. I get it. Yeah, LeVar Woods. I know his name kept slipping my mind. Guys. I'm getting old, guys. I'm 67. I don't always remember everything like I'm supposed to. You know, but I do. But I do know that he's the same guy I want as you guys do. Okay. All right. Let me bring up something else a little bit. While we're waiting on more, content. here. I want to also say I wanted to bring over a little bit about the not expansion, but the little bit of gambling thing I heard. I don't know how many of you guys listen to KXNO on AM 1460 if they're still on that, or whatever other FM station they're on in the Des Moines area. But I was listening to the Morning Rush yesterday, and I forget which um which gambler, whether it was the punter or the baseball player or the place kicker, I can't remember which one was actually got caught hacking into his mom's account, and set off the investigation. I've got them mixed up now. And one of the articles I thought was one of the guys involved actually said that his mom helped him set it up and did it under her name with her permission. So it must be the other one. But I thought that Ross said on the show that definitely that's what set off the investigation, because his mom thought he got hacked. She reported it, and then they found out that it was her son who hacked the account, and that led to the investigation. Okay, and the other thing I want to say on that gambler is Ross also said, and one other podcaster said too, and I believe it might have been on the Hawk Central podcast, um, that the wrestling team is going to take the brunt of this gambling. You know, they know the names, guys. I mean, they've been told names, or at least they got some inside people that are telling them names. So if they say that the wrestling's going to take the brunt of it, then the wrestling's going to take the brunt of it. So we may have a not so great wrestling year if we lose too many. Okay. Does Nebraska bolt back to the Big 12, realizing that they can't get back into the glory days of the Big? That's what I said. I said once. Actually, I said once. I heard Colorado was a for sure thing. I said, does that chase Nebraska back? Because honestly, except for the first couple of years in the Big Ten, Nebraska's been irrelevant in the Big Ten. So would they want to go back to the Big 12 and think they can be a little more relevant, especially with Texas and Oklahoma leaving? Okay. Okay. That was the kicker. Okay, thank you, Ari. Yeah, I got things mixed up a little bit. I was getting them both confused and everything, and so okay. So you guys think it's too late for Nebraska to make the switch to Big 12? Probably. Probably. Okay. Um okay. If Matt Rule is still around in 2025, is he going to be bow? Bye? What's that mean? I don't know. Oh, bald. Bald. Okay. He'll still be around 2025, guys. He's not going anywhere. That'll only be his second year or third year. It'll be his third year. I'm sorry. It'll be his third year. They're not going to get rid of him that fast. Look how long it took him to get rid of Scott Frost. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. He logged into his mom's betting site from his dorm room. Yeah, and that's just it. It was because from what I was told, his mom did not know that it was him doing it, and she and that she got concerned, and so she reported it to whoever she reported it to, that she thought her account got hacked. And I mean, this is not coming from me. It's not coming from anywhere. But Ross is the one that said it on his Morning Rush show yesterday morning. I listen to the Morning Rush every day, but I listen to it not live, but as a podcast, because it's 4 o'clock in the morning here when the show's on the air. So later in the day, when I'm doing things around my house, I turn on their podcast and listen to the show that way. And so, but that's what he said, and I said, God, did I hear that right? Did I hear that right? That's what kicked off the whole investigation. You know. Okay. Okay, we do that one. Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. Guys, I also want to say while you guys are here, I think tomorrow night around 6 or 7 Central Time. This really falls on Jason and Paul. we're gonna do a preview of both Utah State and Western Michigan tomorrow. I'm skipping over Iowa State for now because there's some uncertainties there, and so I want to wait and come back to them later in August when we have more certainty about what's going on at the Iowa State. I'm sure we'll have some more news by the time we get there, and so I don't want to do a preview of Iowa State when we don't know what's going on at Iowa State, and it's kind of hard to do a preview with us because we don't even know which players, like if Noah Shanahan be available for all the games, or is he going to miss a few games? We don't know yet. Okay. One thing we do know, he was of age when he bet, so he's not going to get charged that way. Hey, yeah. In basketball, they would have to play everybody just once during the season. 17 teams out of 18, but they play 20, so that means three of the teams you'll be playing twice. You'll play three of the teams twice, and everybody else once. I don't like that. What an unbalanced schedule that is. That is so unbalanced. They've got to come up with something better. They got to come up with something better. You guys think that they actually sat down and figured this out before they actually decide to expand how they're going to do this, or they're going to go, oh, we'll expand and we'll work out the details later how we're going to do the schedule. Like the 24 and the 25 schedules have already been released for football. Now you got to tear them up and redo them. And the only thing I'm sad is I hope Iowa gets to keep that date with USC here at the Coliseum in Los Angeles, because I was planning on going to that game before I get any older. I want to at least go to a couple of Iowa football games at the here in Los Angeles. Yeah. So you'd think, oh wow, yeah, I agree with yeah, I think we see more teams added. I think they're hinting at bringing Cal and Stanford, but I don't know why they would want to bring them. I guess for the northwestern part of it, the education. Um, I also heard that if the ACC teams can work it out, I heard Clemson and Florida State were on their way to the Big Ten too. 24 teams. Gosh, that would have to be what, 4 teams of 6 teams each, right? Right. Yeah, something like that. 4 pods of 6 teams. hmm So some of the rumors out there are that the Big Ten and SEC are going to clean up, and it's only going to be those 2 conferences left standing, and they're going to bolt from the NCAA and just do their own thing and be their own thing. Does that really dilute, guys? Does that dilute the thing if they're not part of the NCAA anymore? Does that dilute the idea of winning a playoff or a championship game? Does that change the way the Bulls games work? Because you'd still have the Pac-12, ACC, and all the Group of 5 teams. You would have all them still as NCAA members. So, really, where does that go? Okay. Um, yeah. No, NCAA is garbage. Oh, well, there's no doubt about that. But you know what? It's what we know, guys. It's what we lived with all of our lives. We've lived with the NCAA being garbage or stupid or having dumb rules, like with the whole new gambling issue. They've got to adjust their punishments for that. And I understand, if you bet you're on your own team or your own school, I understand the lifetime suspension. I don't have a problem with that, but the rest of it needs to be tempered with, like anywhere from 0 to maybe 3 or 4 games at the most. Okay. Yeah. 3 of 8. Yeah. It's just going to be like, God, it's going to like take 3 years to get through the way the schedule's set up. It'll take Iowa 3 years to get through everybody on their schedule at least once, or everybody in the conference at least once. Do we really want that? Um, am I going to announce that when the FSU and the Clemson merge when it happens? Heck, I don't know. I usually get beat to the punch. You guys have seen stuff from Calvin on my Kelvin on my Facebook page, the Iowa Hawkeye Sports page. He's usually pretty good. He gets on top of that quicker than I do, and he has a lot more posts up there. I think he posts more on my page than I do, and he's really quick and really good about finding that stuff out. But do you honestly think the Bad Penny pre-stash Hawkeye? Um, oh, okay. Anyway, do you really think that the FSU and Clemson will become Big Ten members, or are you saying that those two teams are going to merge with each other? I doubt that. Don't think that's what you're saying. I think you're saying to the Big Ten. ACC's got to get they got to get those things worked out with the ACC first. They really do. Because their grant of rights go to like 2037, and the buyout for these teams to get out is atrocious. Plus, these teams would lose a lot of money because not only would they not get paid by the Big Ten during that time because of legal reasons, um, the ESPN wouldn't pay them either for because when they showed up on their TV screens, they would lose all home games, and they wouldn't be able to play on ESPN, so they wouldn't get any money from ESPN. So not only is it costing them money, but they would not earn any money until 2037. Mhm. Now I like that idea. Let me bring this one up first. Um, it says I think it should be legal if they want to bet on their own team, just never against. I like that part because um, you can bet for your team to win because if you bet on them to lose, then of course it's going to bring on suspicion, especially if you played. But yeah, and there are 20. Oh God, the gambling sites are 24 hours all the time now. I mean, even some of our favorite radio shows and podcasts always devote time to gambling. They do. Three super conferences with 24 teams each. Notre Dame and Stanford will have to join a conference, implying Stanford is going to go independent. Um, I heard that there's a chance that they would go independent. I also heard that Utah was looking into going independent again. Um, so or maybe they never were independent. But anyway, yeah. So maybe the independents can join one, become a conference themselves. Yeah, and that's really a big reason is because the players have inside information. But if they're going to win, if they're betting on their team to win, that does that inside information, does that have anything to do with you know anything? But if they have, like, let's say, oh, okay, our quarterback's not going to play, our number one running back's not going to play, so you go and bet against your team because you think you've got it beat. That's the insider information that I think is too good. You know, conference realignment is like an episode from the Twilight Zone. It's starting to look like that. Okay. All right. Oh, wait a minute. Did I get that one? Okay. As long as they don't bet the over under on their own team, yeah. P stash is in Petrus. Yeah. Is that Nick? Nick's got to be P stash as a Petrus. It's got to be him. um. Okay. Guys, good discussion. Guys, I appreciate your discussion. I really do. Okay. Um. Oh, the networks are going to cover the cost. Okay. Figures. So, CBS, NBC, Fox, and BTN will all cover the cost of bringing the ACC teams to the fold. You know, okay, yep, and that's why I'm betting for your own. That's why betting on your own team only adds legitimacy to each team trying to their hardest to win each game. Okay, yeah, yeah, that's another thing too, guys. When we get upset when they lose and we blame coaches, we blame players. The one thing that really is thing is those guys want to win so much more than we do. They want to win so much more than we do. They're not in there to lose. They didn't go to Iowa to lose. And so anyway, I got on my notes here that the Apple streaming that the Apple offered the Pac-12 basically is what killed the Pac-12. They're not dead yet, but they're dead. They're going to be dead. And so um, okay, so kid wins the game and wins million because he had his team on the money line. Yeah, you got to believe. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the whole gambling issue. Um, you know, okay. There would be so many more Cinderella stories in NCAA football. You mean once these teams start merging now, we'll have more Cinderella stories? You think so? You know, I mean, there's a lot in football. I mean, basketball. We have a lot in NCAA basketball. You guys ever notice though? In NCAA basketball, there's a lot of Cinderellas in the tournament, but in the NCAA women's tournament, there are very few. The top teams are usually the ones that are making it to the end. And I'm not saying the top four are the Final Four team, but they're usually in the top eight or close to it. And so yeah, the women is pretty much as you see it. Mhm. How you announce my username? Bad penny piece trash Hawkeye. um. Okay. Um. Know if kids could bet on their own teams winning. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, if they're betting on them to win, but not the over under, you know, is there a difference? Do you have to bet the over under for them to win? I don't know, guys. We don't have a legal um, gambling here in California. I tried to set up an account and it wouldn't let me. It said it's not legal in your state. So, haha, joke's on you. Okay, I'm saying it's the opposite because of conference realignment. It will be the same top teams all the time. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, and that's why I was kind of confused with the Cinderella notation. Yeah, it will be the same team. The rich get richer. I mean, look at Big Ten. Now that Michigan is back, they've been back for 3 years in a row now, or 2 years in a row. I mean, before that, they were just struggling. Um, Ohio State's been the top team in the Big Ten for years. Penn State is up and down, but mostly up. And this year, they're expected to challenge those top two teams. So they're supposed to have one of the best teams they've fielded in a long time. So yeah, those same three teams are always kind of there. As is Wisconsin's always in the West, which is kind of nice, to see. Even though Iowa didn't win the West last year, uh, to see Purdue win it. The year before Iowa won it. I think the year before that Northwestern won it. Maybe Wisconsin the year before that. I don't remember. But then Northwestern won it 2 out of 3 years. So it's nice to see that the last 5 years it wasn't always Wisconsin dominating the West. It was nice to see some other teams in there. And says I hope we don't see Iowa fade away with all these new teams coming in. This year is so important to win now. I think we're going to need some really aggressive coaching and really aggressive recruiting to stay with these guys. Okay, we really are. Cinderella kids could bet on their own team and make money gambling. Money equals motivation. Trying to catch up to you guys. Okay. If the Hawks can make it deep this year, could that really set the temple for the future? When you say make it deep, what are you talking about? Football, basketball? Um, so I think if the Hawks, win the West, um, I think if they if they win the West, um, I think they'll still be among the West teams. They should still be a contender. It's just that they won't be in West or divisions anymore unless they go to some pods. Um, so yeah, guys, this has been so much fun. So anybody got any other questions or comments that you want to talk about? Anything else? Because I'm gonna get ready to get off and shut this down here. But I mean, as long as you guys are still commenting, I'll stay as long as I can. Okay. Oh, like a 10-2 Big Ten championship appearance, possibly win that and make the final bracket. Yeah, that would be so nice if we could find a way to have that special year. Most people are hoping for Iowa. I mean, most Iowa fans are hoping for an Iowa, um, Michigan, what do you call it? Michigan, Iowa matchup in the Big Ten title. Okay. Take a nap, Dino. Hey, a lot of people have been calling me that lately. You're not the person under a different name, are you? Calling me Dino? Okay. Anyway. All right. Let's get out of here, guys. Thank you for the good show. This is the best show we've had in a long time. That didn't include Jason and Paul. Jason and Paul would have been here. There'd been a lot more humor, a lot more opinion. So thanks, guys. I will see you guys. Should be Saturday night, tomorrow night, around 6 or 7. We'll get that out and announce it to you guys. Hmm. It is. It is. I just don't have everybody call me Dino. Only a few people call me Dino, close personal friends, and that's why I thought, is this somebody I actually know in person? Could I actually know this person? And somebody else on YouTube said some comments and called me Dino on another video, the previous video. And I just thought, okay, is this a close personal friend of mine? I don't. They're not telling me who they are. Okay. Anyway, Saturday night, 6 7. Paul and Jason are scheduled to be here. We are scheduled to do the two previews of the two of the three non-conference games, and we will also go game by game and predict wins and losses for each game. Um, I think you guys will be rather surprised with mine. Um, I don't know how where the other two stand. I do know that Jason's expecting a really good year, so whatever losses he racks up, it won't be many. Um, yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you. Like and share. Like and share, please, guys. Just send it all to your friends, everyone. You know, I sent out a mess yesterday from yesterday's video and got some nice feedback on it coming back, and so I appreciate that. And encourage them to subscribe. I still got to get to 500, guys. We got less than 4 weeks. 4 weeks before kickoff. I wanna give something away to you guys, but we need to get this up to 500. All right. All right, guys. I'm gonna end it. Take care. This way. Yeah. Cool. All right. I got to go to a soccer game and watch my grandson play soccer. We'll see you guys later.